Well, this is Baruch here at the Tikman Elevator Kollel. We're looking at this Sefer, LIKUTEI MAHARAN. This is actually the second volume. I had opened to Torah number 23, Kof Gimel. Now, even though the Rabbeinu HaKodesh always says that you start at the beginning, but I started at the beginning many times. So I came over here just to refresh myself and see what's going on in the middle, so to speak, of the first set of Torahs in the LIKUTEI MAHARAN. These are the words of Rabbi Nachman, the BRESLOV Rebbe. Im Pirish SEFAT HANACHAL. I had the pleasure, I guess really the benefit, of a tremendous person, Rabbi ELIEZER SHLOMO SCHICK, who wrote a Pirish on the LIKUTEI MAHARAN. And we have a running commentary. It's a kind of a running commentary on it. And we're going to try to work the two of them together, and see if we can understand what's going on in the LIKUTEI MAHARAN. So this is the 23rd Torah. Here it is. Where is it? It's over here. And one of the things that the Rebbe does, and excuse me that I started this shiur before, but I got notice that it didn't upload, it didn't come out. So therefore I'm trying again. I'm going to start from the top. So it says over here again, this is Torah number Kof Gimel, number 23, Savi Devei Atuna. And Rav Schick writes on the side, the Savi Devei Atuna, he says, B'Gemara, it's a Gemara B'Choros Muva, Shal Keser Amar the Rebbe Yeshua ben Hananya, the Caesar said to Rebbe Yeshua ben Hananya, Im Ata Chacham Kazeh, if you're such a smart guy, Tavi li as a chachamim me'ir Yavin, bring to me, in other words, we're going to bring together a debate from the people that come from Greece. In other words, the elders of Athens. Shazah Savi Devei Atuna, that's the means the elders of the house of Athens. Hazakeni me'ir Habira shal Yavin. So apparently for this Asir, I don't know this word Habira, but that's a city in Athens, in Greece. And you're going to come and you're going to have a debate before the Caesar. Now, in this argument, we're going to see a lot of different secrets. All kinds of secrets are going to be here. Let me see if I can get this a little easier to read. I will go through Rav Schick a little bit. The Rabbeinu Zecha v'Gila Noralos v'Niflaos Magonu v'Sasa v'Socha v'Kuchim v'Hem Elu HaMamarim HaNekroyim b'Shem Savi Devei Atuna. So now there's secrets in this, in what we're about to read. He says, Avikuchim Shehoya Lihoshua ben Hananya Im Chachmei Yavin. That is what we're going through here. So let's read first of all a little piece of the words of Rabbi Nachman himself. So it's a pasuk. This is Torah number Kof Gimel, Savi Devei Atuna, that little piece of Gemara. Emelon mili de Gedivi. Tell us words of lies. Tell us some lies. Amalu hahavilan kedinaisa v'yalada v'yalda. We had a mule that gave birth. V'havitalia b'da there was a note around the mule's neck. And it said, this note says, you owe to the house of my father 100,000 zuz. So I said to him, so he said back to me, he said, what are you talking about? A mule doesn't give birth. You asked for lies, here's one. Milcha, then he goes on, in Milcha Kisarya b'ma'malchila. He says, now take salt. When the salt rots, what do you salt it with? Bisilusa de Kedenaisa. You said you salt it with the afterbirth of a mule. Me, Igisilusa de Kedenaita. So who has this afterbirth of a mule? A mule doesn't give birth. And he answers, Milcha Misarya. So he says, the salt rot. Interesting, right? Let's go on and let's read a little bit of Rav Schick to try to understand these simple words, which are not understandable. So he says, Emelon mili de Gedivi. Tell us some words of lies. Shasavi Devei Atuna, Amra the Rebbeinu Yeshua ben Hananya, Tagid Lana Davar Sheker. Tell us something that's a lie. Amalahu Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, Amalachem Havecha Velon Kedenaisa, Viladas. Hoisalon the Preda, which is a mule, Vialda. Vahavitalia Lepiska, and there was a note around its neck, Vahoyatalu Pesach Shal Pareda. Vukasiv Bebe, and it's written on that, Vahoya Kosav Sham, the Masig Bebe Abba Bebe Al Vizuze Shuhu Tovea, that's claiming, Me'avav from his father, Shachayav Velacha Bebe El Zuzim, that he owes him 100,000 zuz. So he says, so the Sabbath de Beatuna then said back to Rabbi Yeshua, who could deny to me Yeleda, if Yochel Pareda the Holit, Amalacham Rabbi Yeshua Bechananya, Hey Ninku Mili de Gedive, Elohim Amilim Shel Sheker, but these are words that are lies. Shel Sheker Shuritzitz and the Shmoa, you want to hear in a good lie, here's one. So he said, oh, so they asked him like this. So then he asked him like this: Milcha, Kisarya, Melech Shasriach B'ma Malchele. So if it rots, what do you salt it to keep it from rotting? What do you salt it with? Imamal Molchimo so Shado Yasriach. Honor. So he answered, V'Amba Lechem Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananya answered the Bisilusa the Gedenizer. With the afterbirth, im shilya, the afterbirth shall pray of the mule. For Chaz v'shalach osechel b'sabit the be'atunas, and the sabit the asked him, furthermore, me ika silusa the genaisa, do we have such a thing that we have actually afterbirth of a mule? V'ki ye shilya the preda. Anavaram b'lechem b'Rabbi Yeshua, so Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya said like this, O milchum misarya, the salt rot, v'ech yochel melech nasriach. So he said, the whole thing is really very, very difficult to understand. But he really explains this well. Hadek, Hatig. So he said, Hativ, Hadek, Hazek, excuse me. Hadek, Hativ. Really split it up, find out what it's saying. This is the language of Rabbeinu HaKodesh. Now let's read the next part. So in the Likutei Moharan itself, he brings the Rashi, the Rebbe brings the Rashi on these Pesukim, and he says, Mili Kedidivi, Davar Kozov, something that's a lie. Kedinaisa is a Pirda, is a mule, female mule. Tola Piska, Shtar B'Tzavaru, Shalavlad. Hey Ninku Mili Kedidivi. Eluhem Divra Kozov. So these are words of lies. Silusa is also the word for shilya, or afterbirth. Now we'll read a little bit, see what the Rebbe is saying, and we'll pick up Rav Schick to try to understand it. Yesh panim de kedusha, there are faces of kedusha. Shem anpin the horim, which are smiling faces, that have a brilliance to them. Bechinas chayim, there's life in them. Kamosha kozov. Because we have a pasuk. We get down here. Be'or melech chayim, in the light of the living king. Bechin simcha, it's a has of joy. Kamosha Kosov, it brings the savel samachos as panecho, that your face will be filled with joy. Because v'techi ruach Yaakov, and the ruach came back into Yaakov and brought him life. And bechin simcha means joy. V'yesh panim d'sitra, but on the other hand, zeh keneged zeh baros Hashem, Hashem made opposites. There is the other side. The other side, Hashem anpin cheshukim, dark faces. Mar shchoren, the bile of depression, of Odazara. Kamosha Kosav lo yihi elochim b'cherim, that you should not have other gods al panai in my presence, in front of me. Now we have to say that word al panai, which means they should not come onto my face. Now let me see, where is Rav Schick? Rav Schick is over here, I think. Let me see, where is it? Yeah. This is the Pirush on the side of Rav Schick. Yesh panim de kedusha shehem anfim nehorim. There are faces of kedusha which are shining faces. Hanisha alim tamid semeach. That is, the person is always happy. Mara panim show sochokos, and he shows smiling faces also to anybody else. Zen nikra panim shal kedusha. This is called the faces of kedusha. Shazel bechinas chayim, which is the concept of life itself. Kamosha kosev beor pnei melech chayim, in the light of the face of the living king. B'dashach chomena kedosh, the rabbis explain, shuhu ziva shchina. This is actually the rays of the light of the shchina, whereas inside of the person. Shemir lo al tzadikim, that shines onto those people. Shemir, shemeira al tzadikim, that shines on the tzadikim, on tzadikim. V'chein Amro also says, Yara havaya panav elecha. So Yoir, let it shine, that let it be that the Yudke Vavke shine his face on you. Yoir l'chor me'or panav, let it shine on you from the light of his face. Ve'ein Yoir elachayim, and when it says Yoir, bring life, it's a very interesting idea. It only refers to life. He says Yoir, bring light, elachayim, it only means life. Shene'emer be'or pnei melech chayim, like it is in the light of the face of the living king. V'amru, let's try to get this lined up here. V'amru, she'kol ha'roa pnei ha'kodesh baruch hu einu meis, shene'emer, that anyone who sees the face of the Kodesh Baruch Hu never dies. Be'or pnei melech chayim, because in the light of the face of the king is life. Now, exactly what that meant, I'm not sure. Now he explains. The more that a person clings, it causes himself to cling to Hashem Yisbarach, that is the joy of life itself. Kamosha causes salvas samachas benachos, that your face should be filled with joys. That the simcha will be seen in a person's face. And this is what brings the person to life. Brings a pasuk of Kislev, V'tiki ruach Yaakov, and it became, and the life came of ruach came back into Yaakov. That is the joy. He always brings a little bit of a rival. He says where he gets it. The only place that the Shekhinah is actually Shora, that actually lives, where it dwells, is in the Simcha Shal Mitzvah, in the Simcha that you get from doing a mitzvah. Ruach Yaakov, and that's what it means. And it came to life, the Ruach in Yaakov. Now, I missed a little bit of the video, so Ve'ein Ashchina Shora Ala Mitoch Simcha Shal Mitzvah. So he says, Shezeh V'techi Ruach Yaakov, and that mitzvah, that simcha that he got, is a result of bringing life into the ruach of the life force, the breath of life. How about that? V'techi Ruach Yaakov. Shenishbach b'dav v'ruach v'kodesh shenilkoch b'menach yidech hechrim shecharimo, that the fact that he kidnapped his son, and because he became he went and completely lost from him. Shelo yeda sheyosef chai, because he didn't know that there was life in Yosef, that he was still alive. So therefore, he was depressed. He didn't have any simcha. Because from simcha, he says that's where Ruach HaKodesh comes from. Anfim nehorim, shining faces. Kamosha Kosev Yisechel b'Yemoin, his nachem, that he held himself back from being comforted. Yomiki ered al b'ni, I will go down on regards to my son, Avel, like a mourner, sho'ala, into the depths, into the grave. Okay, Yosef Chai, so Shabino Yosef Chai, when he found out that his son was alive, the simcha came back. And his kayim etzlo v'dichi ruach Yaakov, and it was filled by him. He says that it became back to life, the ruach in Yaakov. Shechaza etzlo ruach hakodesh anpin nehorim, because the whole ruach hakodesh came back to him, because now he had joy. V'anpin nehorim panim the kedusha. So we see that was a side that I didn't see this originally reading this, as Rav SCHICK is wanting to say that the Shekhinah dwells in joy. So that's why it's important to be happy as much as possible. Now he adds on, we're still reading in Rav SCHICK, V'yesh pana de sitra achra. But there is a face that comes to the side of depression, the backside. Shehem anpin cheshukim, which are dark faces. Mar shchara, deep depression. He says this is a man who's always worried, always in sadness. You could see it on his face. Because getting into a state like this is idol worship. Because in this that a person is in such sadness and such bitter depression. When you see him, he goes around, his face are always looking worried, very upset. And this really shows that this person has no faith in God at all. The real, true believer, that he believes, in fact, that there is no reality other than Hashem Yisbarach at all. V'davar gadol v'davar katan. Does not come by itself. Everything is supervised by the force that brings creation. Hu tamid sameach, that person is always happy. He's not worried about what's going to happen tomorrow. Lo kain mesha nifka be'etzlo ramona. But when a person has a flaw in his faith, a lesion, who dog b'magyas parnes mamachar, he's worried about what he's going to do for a living tomorrow. And he walks around with a face of a deep dark face. He calls it the face of the other side. Anpin chashukim, dark faces. Marsh depression. This is all idolatry. On my face there should not appear other gods. Hainu sharoim as a avodah zara upon, you can see the idolatry on the person's face. This is what the Torah warns us. You should make an effort that on my face there shall not be other gods. That you should see by this person the happy face. Lo anpin chashukim, not dark faces. And this is the meaning where it says, and you should not have before you other gods. Al ponai, on my face, daika, ayin zohar yisro, that goes into that daf pei zayin on the olive. The whole high part, sufa shalit bakula, because this parts of has control over everything. Kitzarek sheteda, sheba part sufa chavishal adam. When he means parts of here, he means the face. That from the face you could see everything about a person. Kitzarek sheteda sheba part sufa shal adam, that on the person's face, Yechola lahakir as a kol, you can recognize everything, you can see everything. Shezecha b'sod chochmas, parts of this is the concept of what many not many Kabbalists, but Kabbalists talk about. That you can learn how to study a person's face. In Shar Gilgulim, the Rebbe talks about this a great deal, or not the Rebbe, but rather the Uri talks about this. Shezecha sod chochmas parts of. And you will see Ein Sham over there. Now let's go back to read the Likutei Maharan. So he said, Adam mamon. So I think he wants to say that the people who have the dark faces are the people that money worries them so much. They don't believe that a Kodesh Baruch Hu can feed a person, bring him his sustenance that he needs, very, very easily. And they go after the Panasa with tremendous, tremendous efforts. And they eat their bread in sadness. Now I'm going to stop the shir here because actually I want to make another shir for another day because they get too long. I don't want to make them into 40-minute shir. So we'll come back and we'll do some more, and this will be for another day. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Call Out.